My name is Dustin Lead. We farm about 17 miles southeast of Jamestown, my wife Lucinda and I. I started farming with my dad about 10 years ago. He is moving closer and closer to retirement each year. My dad is a third generation family farmer. That makes me the fourth generation. Some of the land has been in the family since the beginning. Other areas we've expanded over the years. We've been making that transition with him. Today we're standing on some ground that we've farmed for about 4 years now, taking off some soybeans. We became familiar with the organization Farm Rescue a few years ago, and we watched and read many articles when they were getting their start, and thought it was a wonderful organization. We never expected ourselves to need that kind of help. It can happen to anybody, and the fact in the short time that they have been able to help 100 people is amazing.
To know that we're, I think, number 100 is like, wow, this is bigger, I think, than maybe they even thought it would start at. I think you have a dream and then you go, wow, we've helped 100 families. That's a big deal, and to be that 100th is kind of it's an honor. It's an honor.
We actually applied to Farm Rescue back in late July. I had an accident. I was crushed between a tractor and a pickup. I broke my pelvis, my hip socket, and tore up a knee. There's some other minor injuries involved. I was servicing a haying tractor at the time with a mower conditioner attached to it, and needing to run that machine a little bit. I was on the ground, the machine was started. When it was started, nobody was aware that it was in gear, and I was in a pinch spot. The tractor came forward, the back tire caught me and rolled me against the side of a pickup. Rolled me down the side of the pickup until I hit the mirror. The tractor went past, I went to the ground. At that point, the pickup rolled over both of my feet. Stopped there for a second. In struggling to get out, I believe that's how I tore up my knee. I'm not entirely sure. The pickup went forward about another foot. It got off both of my feet, and at that point, the mower conditioner ran into the side of a fuel tank in the yard, and that was what stopped everything. At that point, I was alone in the yard that day. My mom was in the house. The dog actually came when I was yelling and started barking, and that was what got her attention. She came out and was able to help me, into a vehicle, and that's the rest of the story. We have seen lots of, ER bills and done lots of physical therapy in the last 3 months, and it's been a long road. At that point, nobody really knew what my outlook was going to be as far as when I'd be getting on my feet again. I spent about 3 weeks, with 2 people moving me in and out of bed every time we had to make that transition, and that was, we ended up about a week before the deadline to put in the application, and a friend of mine contacted me and said, I'm involved with Farm Rescue and you need our help. He said, you better get that application in, and I denied, the fact that I needed that help about 3 times, I think, and he was about ready to beat me over the head with it and said, you need this help, and we finally realized at that point that we weren't going to get it done ourselves. So I know how hard it is to get over that pride of thinking you can do it yourself and finding a way, and that's kind of something I think that's bred into farmers over generations. Farm Rescue is a wonderful organization. I couldn't be more encouraged by them. I hope that they are able to help out many more farmers, and I would tell anybody that is even in doubt about needing help, at least apply.
I think we found out that a neighbor doesn't have to live next door.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I think everybody knows someone who has been there, done that, needs the help, and it's hard to ask, but there's somebody who's going to be there to help and wants to help and is giving you the opportunity to help. I was the one who filled out the application. A good friend of ours said, you need to get this done, you need to do this. And I think we were convinced that, no, we're going to be able to do this ourselves, it's going to be okay, we'll figure this out, we've done it before. And then we went to the doctor and got a worse prognosis for his condition, and came home and said, we can't do this on our own, we don't know how we'll do this ourselves. That afternoon I called Pam at the Farm Rescue office and said, how do I do this? And she said, okay, go on the website, download the application, and I did, and it was easy. It was a very concise application. I explained what had happened to Dustin and our family, where we were at, what we were doing, explained what had happened to him and how we needed help. And we didn't know where else to go at that point.
We turned the application in actually the morning it was due.
The morning it was due.
By that afternoon, I think we had an answer.
Yeah.
It was not a long, complicated process.
Yeah.
The volunteers one night were coming in for supper from a job previous to ours. We happened to be in town and have the opportunity to meet them a couple nights before they showed up at our farm. And we got to sit down and visit with them, and what a wonderful bunch of guys. They're doing a wonderful job. They're out here every morning before I'm even thinking about, you know, what we're doing for the day yet. They're out here servicing equipment, including mine, and keeping things going. It's just, you know, I can't even put in words what the volunteers mean to this organization. And they came from opposite sides of the state, all different types of backgrounds and situations. They are some of the most generous, hardworking, humanitarian people that I have ever met in my life. You know, it makes me know that someday when I'm at that age where I'm retiring and you know, hopefully this guy is taking over my farm, that if there is ever anybody that I wanted to emulate, these guys are it. They're wonderful. You know, we'd really like to thank the sponsors that put up the equipment and the funding to make this all possible for this organization, RDO, and their equipment. You know, they've sent out a couple pieces of equipment here that just are absolutely outstanding. You know, modern, up-to-date equipment. It's an unbelievably generous gift for one organization to be putting up. Farm Credit Services, Cargill, a lot of the local businesses that we already interact with on a daily basis.
Don't forget, we buy Walmart all the time for diapers and baby stuff, and yeah. That's a trip that gets made often. Yeah. I think any organization or any company that sponsors farm rescue does not, I hope they realize what a gift they are giving. They aren't just giving time and money, but they're helping somebody keep their livelihood, yeah, and keep going for that next season. I think farmers have great faith because next year is always going to be better, and I think they're giving family farmers an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to still be doing this next year.
Yeah. Okay, we can we can give me a break. With some of the medical expenses that we've incurred, and you know, as things happen with this, and you know, the specialist appointments and the physical therapy that you go through after something like this, to have to hire somebody to take our crop off would have been really financially devastating to us. I don't know if we would have survived that. So to have Farm Rescue here to help us out was a lifesaver for us.